Welcome to Order the Squirrels, a podcast hosted by two friends in perimenopause. We tackle life, ADHD, and everything in between. I'm Kim Ratliff, an artist trying to turn my chaos into creativity.
And I'm Rhea Yap, a nurse who spends my days taking care of others and my nights wondering where my focus went. Together, we laugh, learn, and occasionally forget what we're talking about. This is Midlife with ADHD, unfiltered, unmedicated, and sometimes totally relatable.
Welcome to Oots.
I'm Rhea.
I'm Kim.
And today, well, for one, it's October and it is ADHD Awareness Month.
Burrs.
Yes, it's also PSL month.
Wait, what's PSL?
Pumpkin spice latte. It's sweater weather.
Sweater
weather. Love it. The change of the season.
Native area of sweater weather.
I love this season. This is my favorite season. Like,
No,
it's cozy. Yeah.
See,
Everything smells good. I don't think we have the change. Well, we have a slight change of weather.
It's like 10 degrees.
Yeah, we can't wear the sweater, but
It's windy out.
it's windier.
We can wear long sleeve.
Yeah, we'll still be
T-shirt.
sweating. Because
On the mainland, I would be in nesting mode.
Yeah, change things up.
Yeah, I think the dopamine lasts like maybe 2 or 3 weeks of the beginning of the season of like getting excited at things and then kind of
October nesting. It's the beginning of the seasons. I love it. Well, why does every October feel like this? Well, for me, it's anticipation of the seasons, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all the celebratory seasons. And, it gives me a little bit of nervousness because I'm always so disorganized during this time of year.
This is that's why I mean by there's excitement for the first few weeks, but then stuff starts creeping in. Halloween costumes and school parties, and then early Christmas shopping sales, Halloween, remembering to check Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, school events, traffic, and then whirl of anxiety. And you just want to like curl up in your bed with that pumpkin spice candle, a Hallmark movie, and your pumpkin spice latte, and your socks, fluffy socks and jammies, and say, fuck it all.
FIA, capital. Which is why we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Why does every October feel like a reset or a wreck? And, I try every year to get myself organized in the beginning. And
As we all do.
yeah, and then sometimes, you got to throw a Hail Mary later because you realize it's already almost December.
Hail Mary, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good description for
But why does it feel like that? Let's look at this. Why do we feel like, okay, October, you think about like maybe a fresh start or something, or maybe you're cleaning out your house and trying to get things organized before the beginning of the seasons,
Well, the new season triggers that, right? And then you get excited. Like I said, you get excited for the first 3 weeks. So you're like, ooh, it starts out with pumpkin spice. And then, ooh, I get to wear different clothes. And then, ooh, there's Halloween out there. And then you have like the cheap dopamine of shopping for Halloween crap and like maybe some new wardrobe pieces. And then come rolling in the party invitations and the school events for Halloween. And then you got to put up and like bring down all your Halloween crap from wherever the depths of your black hole of ornaments are.
It's the simulation. You get like nice little dopamine burst of something and it's like a kickstart. You're like, wow, check this out. I haven't seen this in years. And you're putting everything up. You're loving it. You're enjoying that part of it. And then you realize that I have to do this, this, and this. I gotta write my cards. I gotta
If you want
invitations, I have to decorate. I have to start buying some Christmas gifts and think about everybody. Yeah. And then on top of that, you still have to like keep house and work your job and do everything else. Yeah.
Shutterfly, I had a thing 50% off on like half the cards that I need to get or whatever. And I tried to take advantage of that. And I looked through my photos, not one good family photo where like somebody's not messing around in there or there's like one of us is missing or something.
Or not looking the right way.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're coming to that point where I have to alternative photo. I don't know.
You'd have to cut and paste, make them float like somebody's head floating somewhere.
You can as a sticker, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
My phone, I have the new thing.
What do you think about like seasonal motivation disorder?
Oh, I totally used to have it in New England and Ohio. A little bit in Washington, but not so much because the kids were was like a distraction from that, like keeping them busy. But before kids, it was like the seasonal depression. It would be overcast, would trigger it, rain,
Oh yeah, it
and
is in the light.
and then like
Sure.
the cool weather. Yes. It would just put me kinda like in a seasonal depression. Yeah, overcast rain, everyone in sweatpants, lack of light, you wanna be a couch potato, TV, movies, Hallmark, and, like, any distractions, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Put
yeah.
on that candle, whatever.
I think the change in the light exposure too, because the days are shorter.
And you wanna sleep longer.
Yeah, so you have like a change in your circadian rhythm. So your internal clock's kind of messed up a little bit. That causes a little bit of fatigue, maybe a little brain fog, sometimes even mood swings. And I guess when you have like kids, it's a little different because you're so busy focused on them.
Right, it's
But
them and your parental duties are a distraction from
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
keeping you going. When I lived in So I have rhinitis, and that's just this anything can trigger this constant like snot thing. So, and I'm allergic to grass. But this is in hindsight. I didn't know that till recently. So back in the day when I lived in New England, we'd have like the weather thing and I'd be seasonal depression. But something about being outside, whether it's cold or not, the cold air and then breathing that in, like maybe like 10 big in and out breaths was energizing for my brain because for the rest of the year, I'm not getting as much oxygen into my brain because of the grass. So I would have that was the only grace I would get through the winters was like these moments, and then it would give me energy. But in
Mhm.
Ohio, I was like living on St. John's Wort because I wasn't even near the ocean. And then I found out that it lessens the effectiveness of the birth control,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
honey, we were, like, so lucky because I was eating that like Altoids." Sorry.
Yeah, it has like you gotta kind of read what it
I was 25.
yeah, I know. 'Cause it interferes with a lot of medication.
Right? Yeah. But, I mean, it happens, and then there's ways of, like, combating that.
Just to help with the seasonal change. There's I guess with those with the ADHD during the seasonal changes. I mean, what is it that stuck out most for you other than the physical changes with your rhinitis?
I mean, just the sunlight, it would change my routines, the weather. It affects, your attention and energy. Yeah, I mean, I called it seasonal depression.
Mm.
I get a I get it in the fall and winter, and, I get boosts by spending time outside and in the sunlight, and sometimes just that crisp air would be good, and St. John's wort, feeds my brain, and
Okay.
I guess feel it and then it makes me more active, and then but here
Yeah, it's different here
is
because you don't
different because we
you still have the
get
sunlight.
the sunlight, but, we do get rainy days. So it's almost like a more of a roller coaster here than
Mhm.
it is on the mainland. Because on the mainland, it's like consistently. Because even if it's not overcast, it's cold. Here, it could rain out heavy like a day or a week, and then and then it's sunny
It
for another week
changes.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So here, it's a little up and down. So you just have to be diligent to keep with your active physical
Mm.
schedule to keep those good endorphins and
Right.
serotonins going, right?
Right.
Because if you get into a Netflix comatose, that I mean, I've like watched weekends away in the bed watching
Right.
series because they're all coming out now. There's that too, like
Yeah.
Netflix, like all the streaming platforms all know
It's time.
Not only of it's holiday, but, like,
Yeah.
people are spending more time inside and stuff. There's even Christmas movies out already.
I mean, there's with the changes, I think it's important. Here, well, it's I try it because it's cooler, so sometimes having walks is nicer. I'm not always, like, sweaty and
Well, you can walk more
yeah, I can do a little
and
bit more
longer.
walking. I like the rainy weather. It's a change from always being sunny here.
Mhm.
Hate to brag, but it's always sunny here. But the change of weather is kinda nice and cooler weather, feels cozier.
Yeah,
So I feel like I'm doing more stuff, but then also in
because
the
it is cooler.
right, it is cooler, but, yeah, I feel like I'm doing more stuff, but it's just because I have such a disorganized brain, I have to make sure that I have a plan every single time, which is not always the case. Because when I wake up, I like, "What am I gonna do today?" And then suddenly I'm scrolling on my phone, and it's 10 o'clock. I'm like, "I should be doing something." So it's just more of trying to set a routine for me and adding in an extra routine if I feel moved to do so, but just having something that I can be able to accomplish. So with the seasonal changes, it's like, I'm excited, but I'm also in an anticipation because every year it's always like I feel like I start strong and then I just end up a mess at the end of
Because
the
you can't
season.
stick with the routine
Right.
and schedule.
So my New
Exactly,
Year
yeah.
and then New Year's, of course, you're like, "Oh, New Year's
Right.
resolution, let's do this." So it's I try,
Yeah,
and that's all I can do, but
and
every day is a learning experience for me.
yeah, that is all you can do as long as you're trying. Have some grace with yourself if you're having difficulty with it,
Mhm.
right? But, I mean, on the mainland, this seasonal depression can trigger low mood, low interest in normal activities or everyday activities, irritability, despair, guilt, worthlessness, lethargic sleeping longer, weight gain because you're craving carbs, difficulty concentrating, and low libido. So, what are some acorn tips for people on the mainland
I
with
and
these heavier
Yeah,
symptoms?
the heavier symptoms are harder. I know that there's people who actually put in the like my sister lives in the Pacific Northwest, so they feel that it's considerably different with the change of seasons.
But I've lived there, and it's no different than New England. It's just milder, so they get rain versus Rhode Island getting snow. Whatever people are saying about
Well, it's
the most depressed place, it's equal to
to
the
be
East
equal,
Coast as
right?
far as overcast and weather for that winter time.
So they use the lights. They use those special lights indoors, especially if they're going to be indoors for a while. Vitamin D also helps, and keeping busy during the holidays. It's something that they can be able to do to kind of keep their minds off of the cocooning, the depressiveness, and just finding ways to be able to take care of those thoughts and making a routine for them during the holidays and being with people, maybe reaching out to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just fly over here. It's all good. Just come on down.
Right?
Yeah. It's yeah, it's a little harder. What are your thoughts on that?
No, same thing to be more like to force yourself to be more active, and socialize more.
Yeah.
I mean, you're indoors, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know about this low libido thing in some places, some people maybe if they have heavy depression, but I know that,
Mhm.
like, in New England, we always joke around about, like, that hibernation baby from from winter or, how people were saying COVID babies and stuff because
Oh,
you
yeah.
just stuck at home more. But, yeah, I mean, that I know of and from our research here, and if it's deeper than that, contact your doctor. And there's no shame in taking a medication for depression or trying all the avenues before the medication, like,
Movement.
ment and
Yeah.
change your diet. and maybe even meditate. I don't know, just
Journaling.
meditation and journaling
Track.
help. Or, yeah, mood tracking probably more so.
Hey, aromatherapy.
Yeah, but not well, yeah,
That's the pumpkin spice. You know, the kind that invigorates you.
you have to be aware of your scents because if you do pumpkin spice, you're gonna be more towards nesting
Yeah.
and cocooning. But if you're putting in peppermint oil in your diffuser and eucalyptus and sage and all, especially sage actually. And it's good
Micro.
antimicrobial and spiritual lifting and all this good stuff. So that's good too.
Yeah.
Save that pumpkin spice candle for when you have designated time that you are going to deliberately cocoon in your bed and watch all those Hallmark movies.
True that.
Right.
um, hmm, on a different note, since it's ADHD Awareness Month, let's talk about this a little bit more, like just
Where?
myths and truths about ADHD. We have a list of things that we can briefly talk about, and tell us your thoughts about it. You know, write to us and let
Yeah.
us know.
Let us know if,
Yeah.
like, well, any of these tools are helping or you have a tool that we haven't mentioned or anything. The one myth here is that ADHD isn't a real medical condition. And the fact is that it's a recognized neurological disorder backed by extensive research, like including genetic studies and MRI scans showing brain differences in individuals with ADHD. Now, ADHD is just a label for that. Some people, like my brother, believes that and some scientists believe that it's an inherited DNA thing, which is what this is saying, which what the
Hmm.
research is saying, and that they're just putting a label on it for the majority that have the same symptoms. And it could be, and what I'm saying is that the genetic studies is passed down, but it's not just passing down like specifically the label ADHD, but it's passing down traumas within your DNA. Like, so, like if your great grandmother was very stressed and whatever, like maybe like during the war while she was pregnant with your dad and all that stuff, or your grandmother, and then she comes out with being born with having some unexplained anxieties and stuff, and then they have all these masking skills of those anxieties, right?
Well, where
Like
did the anxiety comes?
that's
You know,
that's
it's
what they're saying.
yeah.
It's a DNA drop down until somebody takes charge of themselves to correct it in themselves, and then they stop the chain.
But when you correct it,
But
it's more you're adjusting to what your brain is capable, performing
right,
as far as performance says.
limited.
Because for some people, I can't sit and read for a straight hour,
It's a
or I
str-
can't sit in a class and keep the attention for a certain amount of time. Sometimes I'll need to get up, sometimes I'll need to stand in the back of the room. So, I mean, could the trauma I mean, it's hard to say whether or not the attention deficit is caused by a trauma in the past, or, keeping the attention, and perhaps people recognizing that they can't keep the attention, and, maybe, treating them in a way where, like, "Why can't you do this?" And then so it causes the anxiety,
Mhm,
and then, that anxiety can carry over because maybe the mother to the son is saying, "You're gonna get scoldings if you can't pay attention." And so
mhm,
that anxiety is passed over perhaps.
maybe. Well, in living experience,
Right,
yeah,
right.
I can see that.
So there may be some truth to that. However, the way your brain thinks is the way your brain
Well,
thinks.
they're saying that your brain thinks like that because it's ingrained in your DNA from other people.
It's always gonna
I
forever
mean,
be a
no one's
debate.
really gonna know until the next generation because this generation right now is very aware of self-help and whatnot
Mhm.
and very active. It's only it's a real life evolution
Right,
science experiment
right.
to see if that really holds because so many people right now are correcting and reaching their goals and leaning into their own ADHD to complete these goals and stuff. So, I mean, that's my take is that it's going to be an evolution thing to see if that really pans out or not. Wait, what's the next one? Or is that
I'll read the next one.
yeah.
So, second myth, ADHD only affects children and they will outgrow it. I think children are the most honest creatures
Mm.
at that age. They will tell you what they feel or what they think and what they see at face value. I think we learn to grow as we get older that the reactions of other people might either be a positive or negative thing, but also we learn how to self control better
Well, control and mask.
and mask because you kind of don't want to be labeled as somebody who's like
And
constantly, saying things inappropriately.
then but as they mature,
Yeah.
as one matures from childhood to adolescent, I mean, you have life lessons and you learn from them. And ADHDers have higher risk lessons because they're unaware of hurting people's feelings and stuff like that sometimes from their actions because they're not aware of their actions. And then as they mature with maturity, you know, you have more self awareness. So I think in that respect, they grow out of
That
all like a lot of the
social
social things, but then as you get older, then you're left with the more rooted things
the
to
executive function,
yeah.
right?
But also by the time you're 25, your frontal lobe is fully developed,
Hmm.
and that also might help a young adult
With
to
decision
correct some
making.
of those things and be better themselves. But for women, once they have their tools, they create their tools and stuff. But then shortly after that, maybe 10 years later, 35 and up, you get thrown into this perimenopause whirlwind. And that will set you back a whole 10 years, unfortunately. So I think there's a methodical thing about this whole concept of children growing out of it.
Definitely, because you'll see it. I mean, just even taking responsibility and tasks and, your thought process is still might still be the same, you know? Yeah, but, we learn, we
Mhm.
just don't, you know, learn as quickly
Okay, yeah.
sometimes.
Only boys have ADHD. So, do we want to all laugh out loud right now?
Yeah,
All right.
LOL.
Throw up some middle fingers. Girls are just as likely to have ADHD, but their symptoms are more, often overlooked and misdiagnosed because they may be less likely to exhibit the hyperactivity. It's more internal. I have seen some friends as kids where it is I could see it in one of my girlfriends, but I wouldn't have seen it. Nobody would have seen it in myself. I was shy, quiet, and those were all coping skills, just taking it all in and being overstimulated.
I was different. I was loud, perhaps inappropriate at times. Well, just highly distractible. Yeah, that's
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So you were yeah,
I was
that's
yeah.
the opposite.
But, it's different because I think with girls and boys, people will picture a hyperactive, boy, like, bouncing off the walls and, not paying attention, and I think girls have because what you said, it's more internalized, daydreamers, girls that don't really wanna say anything. I was
Yeah.
different.
I
I got
evolved.
into fights. It was yeah.
God, girl, I evolved through adolescent. I evolved into that though, because as an adolescent, there's the hormones are changing, right? So then it's like Inside Out, the movie.
Yeah.
And your body's all like messed up and your emotions are out of whack. So all these new hormones are rushing in. And then by the time I get to high school, and then, you get your own job, you have your own financial freedom for the first time, and you start eating junk food because you can. your metabolism, and you have the money to eat whatever you want, fast food and junk food, and then maybe alcohol. And I was like spinning like a top, and I could be obnoxious, add alcohol, and like just that verbal diarrhea. And then because I'm in a social environment with a lot of people, so a little overwhelmed, but I have the liquid bravery. But on the inside, you're still nervous and you still are just telling everybody about your whole life.
Oh, it's the openness, right?
Yeah, like
Right.
it's just like I was a lot. I mean, yeah, as a little kid, if I was comfortable enough, I tell you my whole life story. My mom would be like, "Why you got to tell everybody everything?" Yeah, that was kind of like more towards like 12 or something. That transitional.
Oh, that's such an awkward
Yeah, but
thing.
I did both.
Yeah.
I started out quiet, then I was like this time bomb, and then now I'm back to like have not back, but like finding a happy medium between the both because of like e- live and learn
Mhm.
lessons, and then like knowing yourself better and going back to eating healthy and stuff because of your physical, because we're perimenopause, and there's this huge movement over the last 20 years of transitioning bad foods and junk foods into organic foods. And so like there's a lot of factors in how women and adult boys and men can combat the ADHD or have better tools, resources.
Hey, we'll do one more myth, and then we can work on the other myths
Wait, what do
as
we
we
got?
go through
Page
October.
3. Well, there's only 4. I mean, if we talk a little bit faster. I know, I'm sorry. I did notice this that we talked. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. Here's one. People with ADHD are lazy or stupid.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Could be weather, like we said.
Yeah. I think some of the
Could
hardest
be
workers that I know are of the squirrel. It's all a matter of subjectivity. If it's not for them, they're not going to want to. They're not going to waste your time with it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, many individuals with ADHD have average or above average intelligence.
Yeah.
I mean, their struggles are not because of their intelligence, because of their neurological difference, that affects their skills like focus and organization and time management. I'm raising my hand right now for time management. And then let's see.
Many of
Medication is the only or a harmful treatment for ADHD. I think we have talked about alternatives and stuff and TMS.
there's many roads to treating ADHD.
And sometimes medication is the
Helpful.
best way for an individual. And I think we skipped one of these. ADHD is a result of bad parenting or a lack of discipline. There will be a lack of discipline in a parent that has ADHD because of
Of
their
the
roller
ADHD.
coaster, but ADHD is not a behavioral problem, and a lack of discipline does not cause it. It's still a neurological condition.
If you can't be able to have your own executive function, how are you going to teach others?
Right. And at least if you are as a parent have it and your skill, working on yourself and
You're multi-aware.
you see the symptoms in your kids, then you're going to share those, whether you actually say it out loud to them that like, hey, I see that you have the same, or if you just make advice and changes as is, right? Usually it's the opposite. The kid gets diagnosed and then they say it's hereditary, and then and then the parent learns the symptoms and they're like, so yeah, it's not parenting, although there is, I forget that I forget Will's still grounded, and he'll know that if I'm busy, if I'm actively busy into something and okay, I'm going to go out and play. If he just makes a statement, I'm going to go out and play with Josh or go to Josh's house. All right. All right. Okay, see you later.
And then you forget.
And then as he's
Yeah.
leaving, I'm like, fudge. God damn it. I did it again. And he did it again. They know.
They know.
They know. And then the last one I think we have, everyone has a little bit of ADHD. What do you think?
What do I think? I think you can tell the difference between someone who actually has it and somebody who doesn't? That's a hard question to ask.
Well, first of all, I think to someone that really is working on themselves at the beginning, and it's hard, it's difficult, it's, like, mentally painful, it minimizes the real challenges that those people have by saying that. But, I mean, everybody does have occasional distractibility and forgetfulness because of, just a busy environment and stress. I mean, it gets thrown around loosely because of that. But I think half those people are saying it to try to show empathy of relating to your
Hmm,
problem,
perhaps.
but it's not
It
really
minimizes it,
like
though.
that, but
It
it
kinda
still kind of minimizes it because
yeah,
it's not fully there
because
yet.
what you're dealing with is probably not what they're dealing with on a daily basis.
Right.
Almost in a way like, oh, it's not really real for someone to have the ADHD.
Well, the person that has ADHD is like, this shit's happening like every fucking day. For months on end. Like for you, it's only happening because it's holiday season. So take that and triple down. And that's me on the inside, right? So you're like, although since the TMS, I have been able to manage things a lot better.
Good.
And like taking L-theanine. This is a non-sponsored podcast and this is unpaid, but I love my Neuromints. We live on Neuromints. If Neuromints is out there, we would love you to be our sponsor.
Oh, wait, my turn. I take Thesis and I take Logic because Thesis it's like all, created for what you need, but that has adaptogens in it. It actually helps me with the concentration
But
during the
if
day.
you were interested in us having you as paid advertisers, feel free.
We're out there.
Actually, I should put all of their links in the show notes and then like the at and then like link so that they see it.
Anyway,
All the links to today's podcast will be in the show notes.
lastly, we're going to talk. Well, okay, before we close, I just want, because it's the season, it's ADHD Awareness Month.
Mhm.
We're going to take a little spin here on getting a reset challenge done.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, just so what I know you mentioned something about what you wanted to challenge yourself with. What is it?
My challenge I have 2 things, a work and a personal. So the work is to keep a timeline, to keep myself on track, to, like, finish up artwork for my last show and art festival. And then to be more consistent with working out for myself so that I can be better at keeping on track for the work thing. It's a whole yeah, it's hand in hand.
Mine, I think more on a personal basis. It's more of simplifying and the reset is real. I think my house has so many things that it's just very anxiety provoking.
Right, and we do a purge.
Kim wants to help purge. I have to take you up on that offer. I should. Because if it's not,
That would my squirrels.
that's your squirrel. She loves that. She loves that. So yeah, I hoard containers to hold things and I just have to get rid of the containers
You don't
because I don't need all that
as many.
containers. So that's my thing. That's going to be my reset challenge and I will just start purging things and that will probably help me during the season, especially with new things
That's
coming
the
in.
challenge
That's my challenge.
is to
Yes.
purge down
To
your
purge down.
visual diarrhea at your house.
Yeah, there's so much visual diarrhea. It's crazy.
Well,
So
at
let's
least
motivate each other, okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know. Like, I'll go over there today. I don't care. That's fine. Yeah. Actually, I should look at my schedule, make
Yeah.
sure I do some art
There
before
you
we go do that.
There you go. Self-care first.
And we both have our Halloween deco up.
Yes.
That's a step. Well, Jonah puts
Yeah, I know.
did
Thank
mine.
God for my husband. He's great. He is great.
Okay, so until next time.
Yeah, until next time, write us,
Yes.
email us.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Share,
Yes.
subscribe.
Mhm.
because the more the merrier, and then you'll never miss an episode. Oh, wait, I don't know how good the streaming platform Good Pods is, but some of you might be on Good Pods. It seems like a lot of you are on Good Pods because we are number 3 on the ADHD category
Yeah.
for Good Pods.
Love it.
Well, that's a thing.
That's a
That's
thing. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I think that's it for now.
Yeah. So we
Happy
will.
Halloween. Hopefully we can squeeze one more in before Halloween.
Yeah. I think.
And then we'll go into holiday
Yeah.
chaos.
Yes. And hang in there.
Hang in there,
Yeah.
everyone. We love you.
Love you. All right. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.